Let's talk business.
Hi, it's me, Kyrian.
I bring the peace, but I'm ready for war.
begins.
This won't take long.
First strike. Killing spree. Match over.
United we stand, divided we fall.
The battle begins.
We're ready for company.
First strike. Match over. The battle begins.
We're ready for company.
First strike. Double kill.
This war makes me stronger. work.
I can't attack that.
Speak, friend. May your blaze never dull. Loktar. For the Horde. Strength and honor. Go forth to victory. Magra. Go forth to victory. I can do that. Work, work.
I need to get closer. I need a target.
Okie dokie.
It's not ready yet.
Work, work. can do that. Work, work. Work, work. Work, work. I can do that. I can do that. Work, work.
Out of range.
It's too far away. Get closer. I need to target something. I'm out of range. I don't have a target. I need a target. It's too far away. Let's touch each other. I need to get closer. Out of range. Need to get out of range. Need to get closer. It's too far away. I'm out of range. Need to get closer. It's too far away. I need to get closer. That spells. Out of range. I can't do that. That had been good. Go in.
If you run an online business, you'll know about payment security, managing risk, being compliant, regulation. It's a lot to contend with. Data's a big one. Everyone knows that customer details are sacred, and if your business takes credit card payments, you need to make sure your customers' data is safe. You'll need to fill
And find out, well, how does a guy change like how I got here today? Traffic and shit like this. It's because everybody in themselves is overcoming something and reaching to be great. They're reaching to do what they thought was impossible and defeated their own doubts, their own insecurities, their own hurdles that they put in front of their own selves, got over that, and now are an example to the rest of us. That's what I do. And I'll do that in any realm that you find me. I just love boxing the most.
So sick, man. So I'm glad to have you on, bro.
Man, I'm honored to be on. Like, you guys are the shit.
We're trying,
boxing
bro.
shows, he should come back.
No, for sure. It's fantastic. Yeah. And your voice is great. You're literally our radio Raheem. Sean O'Malley's here.
Nice.
I want to get him on. Do we have an extra mic? I don't want to kick Jeff off.
I don't even want to.
He's looking for a way out.
They work.
I know they work, but I can't work. Okay.
You can't work like this? You fucking diva. You pussy ass bitch. Just because you can't hear yourself. By the way, that's the issue. He can't hear himself, so he can't work like this. Yo, shut up.
We need a better production team.
Is Mike bitching about something? I can't work like this.
I can't believe you genuinely said that out loud.
Jacket
Can't work.
and
Oh,
this
yeah.
chain.
Like, this is any harder than
The champ's here, guys.
What up, champ?
What's up, boys?
Oh, my God. Sean O'Malley.
How you
Glad you
doing?
made it. Glad
Dude,
you
I
made it,
loved
brother.
watching you. Like, Jake's fight was sick, but I loved watching you, too. Watch Jake's fight. And that happened last time I was there, too. I fucking just catch myself looking at you, and you're
He
just...
stands there screaming.
I get so stoked. I was with my ma. I was
Yep, I
feeding
saw
off
her.
your energy, ma. You were giving Jake advice. I like when you give Jake advice like you know how to box.
That's
do.
helpful.
What was the advice, ma?
I was basically telling him to get out of the fucking corner.
Hey, that's good. I mean, that's
drives
not
me
bad.
nuts.
She's right.
He gets caught. That's where
But he's fighting.
Anderson was getting
Anderson's.
him.
That shows how good Anderson is.
Yeah.
He's doing what he needs to do to win the fight.
Yes.
That was a sweet fight. It was a very impressive fight.
I'm glad you were entertained because you're a fighter yourself coming off a massive win. We were going crazy. I just did your podcast the other day, so I'm gonna just repeat what I said on your podcast. But Sean O'Malley, congratulations, bro. You are, I mean, absolutely incredible. Peter Yan, who at one point I thought was like, probably still is one of the scariest guys in the UFC. He's a dog. I was worried for you, Sean. We all were.
Yeah.
I don't want to see my friends get fucked up.
And he's Russian. It just makes it a little bit more scary.
It's always
doesn't it?
scarier.
Trains with
Always
Hezbollah.
scarier. Always scarier.
Like,
Always.
yeah.
I
By the
have
way-
to ask. We were just talking about how Jake has to deal with trolling people online, talking shit. When you come off of a win that's that impressive, where even your boys are kind of like, "Fuck, this is gonna be tough," and for you to be a dog in the ring and then go back to the media and read this shit, like, bro, is it worth it in your heart or no?
It doesn't, the media really doesn't affect me. Like, I genuinely don't really, like, those guys that are talking shit are just so stupid. I feel like if it did affect me, it would be me being weak-minded. And I feel like everything I've worked on in myself for the last 5
Use radar to check the distance. The bad news is, now millions of people knew about this hole. And from clues given by Mel on the radio, you can get a pretty good idea of where it was. The day after the first broadcast, Mel was returning to his property, but the entrance was blocked.
The government.
Yep. The US military was now aware of the hole, and they wanted it, all to themselves.
After the show on Friday night, I went out there and noticed there were some helicopter activity around the property. There was further helicopter activity the next day, and so I figured that clearly somebody out there listens to your program.
Mel said that the hole could affect things in the environment around it. Animals avoided it, but plants seemed to grow extremely well. Radios acted weird. If Mel brought a radio near the hole, the signal would get very staticky and then start picking up broadcasts from somewhere else. One day his radio started picking up what he describes as old-time music. So he goes to change the channel and tunes into a baseball game.
Point behind the St. Louis first baseman. Went on second, 2 outs.
This is fine until he learns the game was played in 1967, 30 years ago. Art's first call with Mel goes on for about an hour and then they wrap up. Mel was staying in Ellensburg for a couple of days and had made the call from there. When Mel Waters returned from town, the access road to his property was blocked by armed military personnel, and there was evidence that heavy machinery had been brought in. Mel was told there was a plane crash on the property, but there was no report of a crash, no fire, no smoke. Still, Mel was told he couldn't access the property until the crash was completely investigated. When Mel asked to speak to the person in charge, a man in civilian clothes told him that the land was not necessarily his anymore, and it would be very easy to find a drug lab on the property if he didn't leave. Mel threatened to go to the press. The man in charge,
Man in black.
the man in black, told him, go ahead and talk. Nobody would believe it. But Art Bell and his audience would believe it. And a few days later, Art called Mel for an update. Mel said that a neighbor saw a dark beam coming out of the hole and up through the clouds, darker than anything he'd ever seen. Now, Mel admitted he didn't see this himself, but Art Bell and several callers said that this part of Washington has a lot of UFO sightings, disappearances, and other paranormal activity. Callers had their own theories. Maybe the hole was sitting on a ley line and there was a portal to another dimension. Or it was a portal through time, and that's why everything thrown into it disappeared. Maybe somewhere in an alternate reality, there's a big pile of garbage, old appliances, and dead animals just piling up. Who knows? One caller thought this could be a tunnel to the hollow earth.
Ooh, like a subway for lizard people.
Something like that. There were a lot of theories. And since Mel couldn't access his property anymore, he talked to other locals trying to get more information. An elderly neighbor said that many years ago, there was a series of stone columns around the hole.
Like Stonehenge?
Right, but without the cross beams, which are called lintels.
Lentils?
Lintels.
What'd I say?
Someone from the audience reminded Mel that calling into the show is a big mistake because obviously the government is listening. So the show ends and Mel agrees to come back for an update. On the day Mel is scheduled to reappear, he's a no-show and not picking up his phone.
Maybe my audience is not aware, but a television crew went up to Ellensburg after we did the last program and researched this. And I'll be doggone, they didn't find the hole, but they did find near the area where you were talking about a lot of military boot prints and all kinds of information that would indicate the military, in fact, had been there or was there.
Oh, they would have probably seen a lot of yellow gear tread marks in the ground.
Yep.
It would be 3 years before Mel resurfaces. He said he was offered $3 million a year to lease his property to somebody. But the deal was sign a non-disclosure agreement, leave the country immediately, and never come back. So Mel takes the deal, and he lives in Australia for 2 years. But he's missing his family and decides to come back to the States for a visit.
Not smart.
It wasn't. Mel was warned not to do this, but he does it anyway. And during this time, he gets in touch with Art Bell and agrees to come on the radio. But he never shows up. Mel said on the day he was supposed to come on, he was on a bus to visit his nephew. And on the bus, there was some kind of altercation and the police were called. All the passengers are questioned and put on a different bus. Then Mel blacks out. And the next thing he remembers is that he's in San Francisco and 12 days have passed. Mel woke up in an alley. His wallet and keys were missing. He realizes his arm hurts. He rolls up his sleeve and there are needle holes and tape marks from an IV. And as he becomes more lucid, he tastes blood in his mouth. His back teeth are missing.
Whoa.
Mel never makes it back to the property. There was legal action taken against him for illegal construction. Power lines, septic tanks, paved roads. Of course, he didn't build these. The government had occupied the property for 2 years. Still, Mel lost everything. And a day or two after calling into Art's show, his bank
Just searching Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury loses it in an interview with YouTuber True Geordie and foul-mouthed rant. To be fair, it wasn't that foul-mouthed. I thought he was alright. I've been called worse by most of you lot, probably. I thought I'd do a little reaction because there's been so much shit said about it. And to be honest with you, easy money, innit? You just double up on the content. Some of us aren't afraid to admit when they're getting a bit of an easy payday. Just saying. Tyson, if you're watching, some of this video may trigger you, so just put the phone down if you know how. All right, first thing, as you can see here, bold by choice. I want to get that out the way because some of you lot, Boldy, Tyson included, pot kettle black, by the way. I don't know if he was just sort of jealous I took his look from him and did it better than him. Is there jealousy there, do you think? I think there might have been just a little bit. If you didn't want to punch us before, you're definitely going to want to punch us at the end of this, Tyson. But on the plus side, that might be a fight you can actually sell. Oh, sorry. Genuinely, at this stage, there'd be more people who'd want to see me against Fury, and by the way, not interested, than Chisora against Fury. That's ironic, right? So you've all seen the video, but just to quickly recap, My main 2 points are as follows. Derek Chisora is a warrior. There was never any dispute of that from me, even though Tyson tried to make it out like I was trying to do him down. I get why he picked that argument. It's an easy position to take in that moment. Ultimately, I view Derek Chisora as like the BMF of boxing. In MMA, UFC, we have the BMF title, which is like for the guy who will have a war with anyone, not a man you want to meet in a dark alley, you know, a dangerous character who gives it his all every single time. And that is Derek Chisora through and through. But unfortunately, when you have a lot of wars, you know, you become worn out. And that is precisely what's happened to Derek. And I do think that they need to manage him carefully. And one way to do that would be, how about don't put him in there with the most dangerous heavyweight in the world right now? Just a thought. Secondly, that this does feel like a bit of a payday jobs for the boys scenario, and one that the great British public should not be charged pay-per-view prices for a fight that we know is not competitive in the least. We've seen that because Tyson virtually had to wave it off himself last time, and the pair of them were basically getting booed for multiple rounds at the end. That wasn't a contest then, and that was when Derek had a lot more fight in him than what he does right now. A couple of points that Tyson made in his arguments with me. One was he doesn't care about legacy. But I beg to differ, obviously. I think the fact that he was named after Mike Tyson shows that legacy has been drilled into him from day one. You know, he's all about legacy. He talks about being the greatest of all time a lot. He has studied the greats. He often references them. And again, he tripped himself up multiple times by saying it's not about legacy, but then the reason why he's doing it is to make history. Well, I mean, those two things are exactly the same. And it's all about him having 2 trilogies at heavyweight, which turns out he thought he was the first. Many people have corrected him that he wouldn't be the first. It's like me going, am I better than Joe Rogan and Ricky Gervais at podcasting? Absolutely. But I don't care about legacy. All right. But just to be clear, I am the GOAT. Tyson then sort of refutes that this is an easy payday for his mate, an easy money for him, that, you know, he's a fighting man and it isn't about that for him. But then why have you on your 3rd autobiography when you've only had one life, you know? Why do all those speaking tours? Why are you now advertising life insurance? And I may well need that. It would be ironic that Tyson Fury's life insurance pays out after he kills me. I've got no problem with Tyson making that money. I love to see a young man who's come from nothing make that money. But then don't just tell us that you're not about that when you're clearly charging the public for a non-competitive fight and you're having to bamboozle yourself to make sense of it all. And none of it makes sense. That's why there's been such an overwhelming support for the videos, because people are just sick and tired of this, and no one's ever said it to him. He then said he wasn't in the same era as Usyk and Joyce, but he was in the same era as AJ, when AJ turned pro at the same time as Usyk. Joyce is older than him. Like, just mental gymnastics gone wrong again. Then he was saying, you know, there was a deadline for AJ, but not for Chisora, because Chisora's got balls and all of that. And it just, the whole thing, it was very hard to go along with. And I personally, and I know some of you might disagree, I don't think Fury actually pulled out. I think Fury became very difficult to work with. But I think actually AJ's side may have been the ones to just pull the plug. But either way, he just makes dealing with him in a business sense very difficult. And as the fans, we want to make this fight happen. We want to see this fight happen. And it's fucking frustrating. And like, why does it have to be December 3rd? You're calling the shots to make a fight that no one wants to see. And you're hiding behind your self-imposed deadlines as the reason those fights have to happen. And why we're not getting better opponents when you made those deadlines yourself. And then you're going to charge us a fortune for it. So yeah, none of it sounded good, did it? So as the interview was going on and I could feel him getting more frustrated, I didn't let that shake me, you know, because I thought there's things that need to be said right now, and I'm going to be as respectful as I can be. And luckily, a lot of you out there recognize the amount of respect I paid Tyson and still say what needs to be said. But ultimately, this guy does not respect me, and he thinks I'm beneath him. It's who the hell are you to tell me what I need to be doing? Ego is an amazing thing when it comes to becoming heavyweight champion of the world. You know, you want to prove to everyone that you're better than everyone else, and you go and do it, and then you get to say, haha, I told you so. It must feel fucking amazing, right? But when it comes to then having that same ego and having a chat with a fan who merely questions your decisions, it's problematic, because Tyson puts himself across as a man of the people. But As you've seen in that interview, you know, you can't be a man of the people and then not be answerable to those same people who pay your wages and buy all of your products and think that they don't deserve any explanation at all. But if you don't want it, don't buy it then. That's just not the attitude of someone who's a man of the people. And like he said, who am I? I am not on Derek Chisora's level. I am not Tyson Fury. I'm nobody compared to him. And he clearly thought that. Then why is it bothering you so much? Why are you getting so triggered if what I'm saying is a load of shit? I think we all know. And when he was hurling all of those insults at me, as someone who I've genuinely looked up to before, but I know how he is at times in terms of he contradicts himself a lot, right? Everyone who's watched the Fury interview seen that happen. He literally says, good man, and then says, you bulldozer, within seconds. And that's why I start laughing, because I'm like, this is vintage Tyson. Like, I've never seen, but even quicker to contradict himself. Like, well, I was a good man a second ago. What the fuck just happened? Imagine I turned around when he was in the middle of calling us bald and just went, I have got cancer, so thanks. I don't have cancer, just to be clear. I'm perfectly fine. Touch wood. I thought I found a lump the other day. Turned out I've just got massive balls. So, yeah. There was actually a few people who thought I was deliberately trying to wind him up just because I wasn't backing down. I'm like, mate, I worked offshore, 12-hour shifts every fucking day. All we did was piss each other off, right? I've got a black belt in pissing people off. I'm from Newcastle. I've got my 7th fucking Dan in pissing people off. Ask anyone who knows me, I can be the most annoying prick you'll ever meet. This was me being as respectful as I could. Just to prove, I've even got Fury's books. I think he's got another one coming out here if you want to buy it. But, yeah, now look at them. I've turned him into Ronnie Pickering.
Do you know who I am? You're Ronnie Pickering.
I don't want someone to get backlash off an interview with me, but equally, I think it was earned. You know, this is something that's been in the post for him. And because he let that come out, people were like, no, we're not having this. You have to behave. You're the world champion. We love you. We look up to you. We demand better. And we greatest fighter of this generation.
The new 888 Poker Experience. Over $1 million in guaranteed prize pools every week.
Yo, can you run out and I just fireball the room?
I'm running out.
I want to fireball the room. No one is near me. Come on, get the fuck away.
I can't move! I can't move!
Move! I'm trying to
fire. Do it.
This bitch.
Do it. There it is.
Move.
I can't move.
They're here. I told you.
Oh my god. Okay.
You said
holy shit! What the?
That was fucking not even in the beginning, bro.
Oh my god,
I said, dude, they're here. Dude.
Fuck.
Let's go again. I usually play more zoomed in because I think that it looks better for a viewer experience on the stream. Is this Manifest Destiny? Holy shit! God fucking damn, look at this! Oh my god! And there we go. I have added mine to the collection. Holy fuck.
What's the future really going to be? It seems like it's VR and AR. Okay, let's pivot the entire ship and commit to that future.
Huge move.
Just the whole thing.
Yeah.
And we have enough money to pour into this that even if you're not really sure, if you're a skeptic, if you're on the edges, we'll pour money into whatever you were, hesitant about to make it good enough for it to be the future. And then when we have this foundation of the internet 2.0, which is this metaverse that they're imagining people spend lots of time in, then Apple can't screw them over, or Google can't take the upper hand because they sell all the ads. It'll be the Facebook-dominated thing. And that would suck because one company dominating the entire internet and having control over the whole foundation of what we're all doing online is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
But that's their vision. That's their competitive
so they've been
future.
limited now, and they're like, let's get ahead of this so that they can't limit us.
I think
in the
they see the trajectory of Facebook.com going like this.
Yeah.
And they have infinite dollars to just look for the next thing and fully commit to it.
And what do you think of that bet?
I think it's really interesting. So I've seen some really cool demos of like things that work really well. There's the Quest Pro headset that I got to try, which is like, it has this pass-through mode and it'll track your computer and you're paired to your computer. So you put it on and it still shows you your entire environment, but then your computer on the desk, 3 more monitors will pop out of it and you get to use it just like a normal computer.
Wild.
And like the tech, it's a little bit glitchy, it's a little buggy, it's not the sharpest thing in the world, but like this idea of like, I have 3 monitors in front of me on the train, wherever I want to go, just bring the headset with me is like, I get why they think that's the future. And they're going to pour billions and billions of dollars into that until it's great.
Sorry, real quick. I have one, I don't want to call it like a criticism, but one thing I noticed, I got the goggles, right? My wife and I have them.
The Quest?
This is,
just one of the VR headsets?
I think it
You
was.
have Oculus, I think.
The Oculus Quest, yeah. Man, now the Meta Quest, because they bought them too.
Right. And my wife hated it. I'm loving it. I'm watching like climbing videos. It's me and Alex Honnold, and I'm just looking down. I'm like, it's terrifying, whatever. But what an interesting thing happened, which is different than like watching a TV or a basketball game and zoning out, or like playing video games and kind of zoning out. It completely isolates you from your partner. The goggles do.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a hiccup there that they're not noticing, which is you can have a headset on playing Call of Duty and your wife's over there, but you can still talk about what you need to do that day and the things you need to go get. And do you like this outfit? Do you like this? Should we go here? Once those fucking goggles go on, you're in a different world, literally, and that's the point. But it's there's gonna be friction relationship-wise.
So there's
the idea of the metaverse. We're all putting on headsets and we're in there together.
But if she doesn't buy in to climbing with Alex Honnold, like me, or surfing at Jaws with Shane Dorian and Kyleni, if she's in doing her thing, right? Now we're not in the world together and we're not spending that like time together. Couples do this a lot where it's like, we're doing something together, we might not be talking. And I think that there's gonna be some friction with that. They have to figure that out.
So there's two things I keep saying, which is VR and AR. VR, virtual reality, is you put the headset on and you're immersed in a different world, which is what you're talking about. AR, a little bit different, is taking the reality around you and augmenting it a little bit. Augmented reality. Add a screen to the wall. Add the weather in front of you.
About the 2 other screens.
Yes. So right now in 2022, the tech that we have is you putting a big ass headset on and being isolated from the world. I think Meta's idea is if we put enough money into this, it miniaturizes over and over and over again. It's got cameras, it's got sensors. Suddenly it looks like I'm just wearing glasses. I see the whole world, but I also get the VR experience. The AR experience is everywhere. And maybe that's possible.
So the Oculus is like the first cell phone?
Exactly. We look back at that and we're like, that is absurd. I don't want to carry this thing everywhere. There's no future to this brick in my car.
But if I'm folding it, throwing it in my jacket.
Suddenly it makes sense.
And imagine whoever, Nokia had been working on the cell phone for 50 years before anybody else started.
Right. Yeah.
Is it avoidable that Meta takes over the metaverse completely?
So I think there's a couple other companies that have enough money and enough foresight to start to compete. I think everyone expects Apple to have a headset in the next year. I think we're going to see that.
And they're great at hardware.
Apple's great at hardware, and they're great at ecosystem. So you better believe they're worried about, like, everyone who has an iPhone is going to want the Apple headset, not the other headset. And Apple, just like they do with the bubbles, there will be Apple's headset and the others. Right? That's a thing you can expect. Google, they've got the money and the tech and the software.
Creating other.
Oh, yeah. We talk about this all the time, the ecosystem and the walls that they build, the figurative walls, that's iMessage, FaceTime, all that
charger,
stuff.
right? It's like,
the
you have an Apple charger.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I think there's a couple companies close that are about to do some stuff, but Meta is the one that's like at the top of the mountain yelling about the future that we all see.
Yeah.
So,
but it feels like we're not exactly buying in just yet. I like what you described about just the regular glasses that you put on.
Yeah.
I think that would be really interesting.
Do you think people partnership with Ray-Ban? Did you see those?
Oh,
it
no.
looks like your normal Wayfarers.
And they just look like, that's cool.
Yeah, they're like at both ends of it. There's like the Oculus, and there's the Ray-Bans, which is like just a camera.
Yeah.
And they're like, we get this closer to Oculus, we get Oculus closer to this.
Then we're good.
We get something good in the middle.
And do you see people wearing them at all times? Like, how does the regular interaction work outside of like the workspace?
Yeah, I think so. Meta would like us to all just have them on like all day. They want people to work in the metaverse. They want people to collaborate and meet and hang out with friends in the metaverse. And everyone's got the headsets on all the time. You've seen Ready Player One, kind of just like exactly like that.
That is what you think the future is.
Yeah, that's the future I keep picturing whenever they describe how much time they want us to spend with the headsets on.
Seems dystopian, right?
I think though we still have to think of how much smaller and less immersive the headsets can be. I think we'll get these crazy, weird WALL-E moments where we're like, I don't want to have this headset on all day. This reminds me of a dystopian future I don't like. But if the tech gets good enough and small enough, and it is just like you can hit a button on your glasses and it turns on and then it goes away, and it's like a cool thing you can have, then people will be more willing to give it a shot and use it sometimes. I think they want us to spend all day in it though.
Yeah, because if you think of your phone time, your screen time is
a lot of screen time.
7, 8, 6 hours, 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
Imagine augmenting it where this is a better reality than when I'm in.
That's why I don't do the Apple Watch. All these guys have the Apple Watch, but
it keeps me off my phone actually.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yep.
Yeah. Take your phone out less.
Well, but it drops, but you're looking at this all day.
Not all day, just when I get a text. What happens a lot of times when I get a text personally, I look at the text and then, I'm in a wormhole of other things I can look at.
Oh.
This
And
eliminates
I'll just
that.
check Instagram because it's already open.
That barrier is so much smaller. So if you have the watch on, that's like a barrier. You don't take your phone out of your pocket. I get a text, I check it, I don't reply, it's over.
And then you don't scroll.
And I don't, because if I get the message, I feel the vibration, I take the phone out of my pocket, suddenly I'm in.
Over.
I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok already. Like
Dude,
that's
my
how
wife
easy
this
it
morning
is.
asked me to do a thing for her, right? And she has to do this every single time. She goes, Andrew, could you ask about that thing? I take out my phone, and then 30 seconds later, she goes, did you ask about the thing? And I'm on like Brazzers or something. I'm like, yeah, I'm asking about it. But it's so true.
You're in a
It's so-
wormhole
now. It is, and I didn't notice how sucked in I was without even realizing like how secondary the movements were until I put the time limit things on.
Oh my God.
And I knew that it was limited,
Yeah.
but my thumb would just naturally go and click on the icon. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy?
My thumb just has a mind of its own.
It's not my fault.
And you like memorize exactly where the icons are on your home screen. And it's just there. You don't even think about it. Yeah. There's these folding phones now, these flip phones, where it's like that little extra barrier of like, there's a screen on the outside, but then you open it and it's the whole phone. So you don't open it, but you get the text and you see it on the outside, and then you just dismiss it and don't open the phone. Because the second you open the phone, you're in.
It's over.
It's in.
And was that their idea? They want to reduce the amount of time?
I don't think that's the primary. I think it's just a cool tech. That's one of the things I noticed when using a folding phone is I started using my phone less, or at least wasting time hours in less.
So how do you do less phone time? How do you get caught or stop yourself from getting caught up in the scroll?
Personally?
Yeah.
My goal, my only thing that I've started doing like a few months ago is I start my day without my phone. So I think it's easy to just endlessly scroll, and then I get like existential about it, and I zoom out and I just like see myself on the couch just like doing nothing. It sucks. So I like getting out of bed, feet on the ground, start the day without touching the phone.
Yeah.
My watch wakes me up actually. It just like taps me on the wrist and I just go, all right, time to get up. Because as soon as I like take the phone off, hit the alarm stop button, suddenly I'm right where I was going to be with this. So that's my thing that I think works kind of well. It's really hard at night to like, because I want to get through all my notifications and emails and everything before I put it down.
Yeah.
And so I'm like sitting in bed, finishing up, and then suddenly I'm scrolling and I forgot that I was just about to sleep.
Yeah.
That part sucks. But that's what I try.
How long in the morning without the phone?
Just till I get downstairs to like start my day.
Can I ask if you had to guess your average screen time? Because it's easy to say, it's part of my job.
Yeah.
I do that. My job
That's
not
our
even...
bullshit excuse to ourselves.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I know
I work
my-
on the internet.
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's like 7 hours a day.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Do you think, I know when Google Glass launched and also with the Ray-Bans, like the biggest thing for me was like, it's one thing to tap into a virtual world. It's another thing to be pointing a camera at someone else's face. And I think like, like get the fuck out of my face. And that camera is the thing that I think a lot of people, that'll be the big pushback.
Yo, that's a great point. How it affects social interactions when people constantly think that they're being recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would make me incredibly uncomfortable.
Yeah, it was and Google Glass was 2012.
Yeah,
Think about
remember that?
cameras on your face in 2012. Like that had no shot. Had no shot. Yeah. And I was in college at the time, and I even had a pair of them, and I was like, all right, time to give this, possible.
By the light of the moon.
too far away.
Inventory is full. get closer.
How are you?